Okay, welcome back. This is part 3 of lesson 8.6. Now we're going to actually take what we learned in the last two lessons, or the last two videos, about normal distributions to actually solve some problems and think about some data and some data sets. So the example here, it says the masses in grams of pennies minted in the U.S. after 1982 are normally distributed with a mean of 2.5 grams and a standard deviation of 0.02 grams. So that means on average they don't differ from 2.5 grams more than 0.02 grams if they're within one standard deviation. So what I'm going to do is just kind of show you, if we were to draw a standard curve, I'm doing the best I can here. It doesn't have to be perfect. So there's my standard curve. And again, we know right down the middle, if this is right down the middle, this is our mean of 2.5. And then off to the sides here, these two areas, this is, 60, what did we say? I think we said it's, it's roughly 68% of all the values. And these are going to differ no more from 2.5 than by 0.02 grams. So that means this would be 2.52 grams, and this would be 2.48. Okay? Then if we go out to 2 standard deviations away, now we're at 2.54, because we've added the standard deviation twice, or 2.46, and that's going to represent roughly 90. It's going to represent roughly 95% of all of our values. And then if we go way out here to the ends, where we are 3 standard deviations out, now we're at 2.56 grams and 2.44 grams. So now let's look at some questions here that involve this data. It says find the percent of these pennies that have a mass between 2.46 and 2.54 grams. Okay? So first, find the percent between 2.46 and 2.5 grams. Well, we know that the average is 2.5 grams. And then if we subtract 2.46 grams from that, we get we get 0.04. So this is 2 standard deviations away. 2 standard deviations away. Because again, we said that 1 standard deviation is 0.02. This is 0.04. Then down here it says second, find the percent that are between 2.54 and 2.50. Again, we take the larger, 2.54, minus that average, 2.50. And again, we get 0.04. Again, 2 standard deviations away. So 95% of all data is going to be within that range. Okay? It's going to be within 2 standard deviations away from that mean. All right? B asks us, find the percent of pennies that have a mass between 2.48 and 2.52 grams. So now if I do this, if I take my mean, 2.5 minus the smaller one, 2.48, that equals 0.02 grams. That is within, that's the abbreviation for within, that is within 1 standard deviation. Okay? Second, find the distance between 2.52 and the mean. 2.52 minus 2.50. Again, we get 0.02. Again, 1 standard deviation. And so 68% of all data falls within that area. Okay? So I want you to do these last two problems on your own here at the bottom. And then when you're done, unpause the video and look at the answers. Okay. Now that you've tried this on your own, it said find the percent of pennies between 2.44 and 2.56. So again, we would do it like we did before. We would take those numbers and subtract them from the mean. 2.44, 2.50, and in each case we get 0.06 for each of these. What does that mean? That's 3 standard deviations away from the mean, because 0.02 is 1 standard deviation, and we've done that 3 times. Okay, so this would represent 99.7% of the pennies. Okay, 99.7% of the pennies are between 2.44 grams and 2.56 grams. So we need to be aware. So these are the limits. If we want to include 99.7% of all pennies, we would be looking at these weights. Anything between these numbers. Okay? If we want to get smaller than that, like if we want to get closer to the mean, then we have to be less standard deviations. Okay? All right, now it wants to know, find the percent of these pennies that have a mass between 2.46 and 2.50. So we'll do the first one. 2.50 minus 2.46 gives us 0.04. So that's 2 standard deviations away. And then if they are at 2.50, that is equal to the mean. So now, if they're only between these, so that it's 2 standard deviations. And if we go back up here, if we go 1 standard deviation out, that's 34%. And then if we go out another standard deviation, that's another 13.5%. So then if we come down here, that means we're taking 34% plus 13.5%. So that's equal to 47.5% are between 2.46 and 2.5. Okay? So 47.5% of the pennies would be between these weights. Okay? And that is the end of video 3.